Hey, shalom. Greetings and Shannah Tovah. It's the beginning of the fall feasts. Rosh Hashanah. Shannah Tovah means Happy New Year. This is the head of the year. It's very meaningful because it begins the final feasts of the year, the calendar year for us here in America, because within 10 days from now is Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is the culmination of the 10 days of awe, which begins now. 10 days of awe is named that because they're days of reflection, to think about what your life was like this past year and try to consider the things that you knew were wrong, that need to be dealt with. You don't deny them, you don't avoid them, but you deal with them. And in this 10-day period, you allow God to speak to you, to maybe give you a new course of direction, to make amends for someone where you've broken a relationship, or you've done something that you know is wrong, said things repeatedly that you wish you hadn't. This is the time to think about those things, not because you wallow in them, but because you want to get right. And the 10th day is the day of Yom Kippur. Traditionally, when there was a temple, the Jews sacrificed, they had 2 goats. We'll talk about that when Yom Kippur comes. But it's the day when the offering for your sins, for your guilt, are given, and with the hopes that God would receive them. This is in temple days. There's no longer a temple, so things are different. But for now, it is a time of really considering your ways. And it's a time to get right with God. We have that as believers any given day. We don't have to wait till once a year. But it's a time to also identify with the Jewish people, because this has been an extremely tough year to be a Jew, especially in Israel. Enemies on every side and growing in number, and the compression of the hatred of the world, of anti-Semitism, which is heightened at new levels consistently. So think about them. Think about them as you think about your own issues in life, things that need to be dealt with. But consider the Jewish plight. Why are they hated? They don't know. Why are we hated? Why do you think they're hated? Well, I'll give you a quick answer. It's nothing that you're going to have a rational understanding for, because they're just people. Jews are people too, you know. Yeah, they are. And they need to be considered with respect for who they are and the need for them to survive as a nation. They need companionship. They're not asking for the world to come and fight their battles to survive as a nation. But they would love to have this sense of support, knowing that what they're doing in Israel in this past year has been for the safety and the future of all the free world, and not just the free world, the world that is in bondage to this unruly, ungodly, beastly Islamic ideology that has reared its ugly head on October 7th, not quite a year ago, and maintained the process all throughout. And Israel has been blamed for the deaths and the destruction all throughout. And it's not right. It's just not right. Anyone who thinks, anyone who perceives, anyone that knows for real what's going on, knows that Israel is not the aggressor, they're the responder. And they're responding to missiles that have been attacked, have been shot into their land from the north, from Hezbollah, from Syria and Lebanon and Iraq, from the Houthis, the Yemenites. And Iran itself is the chief. And it's for their destruction. They are fighting a war that is ceaseless. Sirens going on continually. Thank God, because it's a miracle that they're still here. And we've seen miracles all the time, because he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. So consider, am I on the right side of this equation? We're not rooting for one team over the other. We're rooting for the salvation of the Muslim nations, the people there who have been mistreated for too long and need to be set free. And there are people that are rejoicing in the Muslim world for the destruction. It's sad that people have to die for others to be free. But it does have to happen in times like this. And fortunately, the carnage has been limited, even though it's been enough but it's not enough to blame Israel for what's necessary for them to do. So think this through. Just which side of history have you landed on? And these next 10 days, let God examine your heart. It's not politics we're talking about. It's spiritual realities. We have come into a new age. In case you haven't noticed it, things have changed dramatically from October 7th, both in the land of Israel and in the nations surrounding the world and here in our own country. We need to see the truth, and we need the truth to set people free. Yeshua is the answer. He is the fulfillment of this feast of Rosh Hashanah. He is reason to celebrate. He is reason to blow the trumpet. If you've been set free from the guilt and the pain and the shame of sin and things you've said and done wrong, this is a great time to get right with God. So Shannah Tovah, may it be a wonderful year ahead.